Tim Smith. My wife Bonnie and I came to Maranatha about a year ago, and we've been attending and felt this is a good time for us to show our commitment and take the next step, become members of the congregation. My life growing up, I have a strong spiritual heritage. So my family was very active in our church. My father was a founding member, or one of the founding members of our church. We were always there. He was a lay leader. They were very involved. Whenever the doors were open, we were there. We weren't always the first there, but we were most usually the last there. And so from an early age, I went to Sunday school and learned all the things, all the Bible stories, all the concepts of sin and my need for a Savior. And I imagine over the years, I probably in an evangelistic meeting and those type of things were common back in those days. And I imagine I went forward a time or two, probably committed my life, but I actually consider my salvation was when I was 11 years old. That's when it really became real for me. I was by myself. I was in my room singing. I loved to sing. I loved, my mom played the piano, and so we always had hymn books around, and I would just take a hymn book and sing all the songs I knew, which was most of them. And it probably sounds a little more noble than it was, because I was probably supposed to be cleaning my room at the time. But anyway, that's what I was doing. I don't remember what song it was, but I felt convicted by the words of the song that I really needed to make it real for myself. I need to have a personal relationship, which I didn't feel that I had. And so right there in my room, I got down on my knees and asked Christ in my life. I do know that even after I accepted Christ, that it wasn't a smooth ride all the time. It wasn't just this constant continual growth. I mean, you like to think that way, but it's not. And so I went through some rough times in my teenage years, as a junior, senior in high school, and then even on into college, where I really wasn't walking with the Lord, and was quite rebellious in my heart and attitude, and so that was something that God had to deal with me on. When I went to Bob Jones, my father had become a minister. I had two sisters that went to Bob Jones, and so that's where I went. Not because of any real conviction that this is the place I should be. It's just so during those years I was kind of I'm not sure what word I'm looking for, kind of just floating, I guess. You like to think in a great Christian college like that everybody is on the right path, and it's absolutely not true at all. They're the wrong crowd anywhere you are. Anywhere you go, you can find the wrong crowd. As a result, I think what God did in my life was got me expelled. I broke some rules. I refused to admit it. I guess basically I got expelled for lying. My buddy, who was caught up with me, came clean. He was disciplined, but he didn't get expelled. So I'm on my way. Bob Jones is in South Carolina. I'm on my way home to Iowa, and got about as far as Cincinnati, actually, and just decided I'm not going home. In part because I was embarrassed, with my father being a pastor and getting kicked out and all that kind of thing, and in part because of the rebellion in my heart and the independence and all those sort of things. But God used that to bring me back, because He led me into a home that was every bit as godly as the one I was running away from. And so that got me started back on the path, the right path. And it was during that time that Bonnie and I met and started dating. And I always kidded Pastor Frank that he had to marry us to get me out of his house. Well, I guess to sum everything up, my story, I believe, is one of God's faithfulness in my life. I've not always been faithful to Him. He has always been faithful to me. And so I think as we move forward, that's something that I can fall back on, and I have as a bedrock in my life to know that He's going to continue to be faithful, and especially as I walk close to Him, that He'll lead. I'm Tim Smith, and that is my story of grace.